Hi everyone, welcome to Maximum Attack Rallying. It is Monday and there is lots to talk about in this one. I want to start though with a quick apology. My video from the latter part of last week was a victim of the copyright gods. That was my mistake, I think, but it was taken down. So apologies for that. Apologies if you didn't get to watch it or you feel like there was a gap in the regular schedule. That was the reason, but we are back and normal service will resume. And there is, as I said, lots to talk about after Rally Sweden. There's going to be a little bit of a rant, but I just want to say what an absolutely brilliant start to the season. We have had two fantastic rallies so far, and isn't it great to see? It's great to see such close competition. But there is a cloud hanging over what was a fantastic Rally Sweden, and that cloud is the madness. The madness and, dare I say it, stupidity of the FIA. Their ability to continually shoot themselves in the foot. The madness that has been afflicting F1 has well and truly returned to the WRC service park. Adrien Fourmaux was given a €10,000 fine for saying a naughty word in his post-power stage interview. Oh, what are we doing? Just what are we doing? It is so ridiculous. He basically said that he had effed up his weekend when he crashed into a snowbank on Saturday, which is the truth. He was talking about himself and it was the truth. Why are we trying to sanction emotion? You know, if this was in a media zone, I get it. You know, I'm not saying that drivers should swear all the time and they should be casual with their language like that, because, you know, there are going to be kids watching and we should be careful. But this wasn't a media zone. This was, someone had put a microphone in his face at the end of the final stage. He was in the zone, lots of adrenaline. He's going to say things, isn't he? We want to see that. We want that emotion. I don't understand why the FIA are trying to crush the emotion out of motorsport. It is completely mad, completely mad. It is driving me insane. I can't get my head around it. And you know what? If we keep going down this path, we are going to reach a point where the drivers will refuse to say anything. They will refuse stage end interviews. They will refuse to engage in media zones. And to be honest, I think they should. I think they would be well within their rights to say, if I can't say what I want to say, I'm not going to say anything. I actually think what would be quite amusing is if all of the drivers got together, and I'm not just saying in WRC, if we could get drivers together across multiple disciplines to either refuse to do interviews, or for every driver and every team boss to swear intentionally in every interview that they do until the FIA realise that this is completely stupid. So, it really did take the shine off the weekend a little bit for me. It's a really poor end to it. As I say, €10,000 fine. He'll get a €20,000 fine if he does it again in the next year. So there's that. And I also just want to mention consistency, because from what I saw over the weekend, I think Elfyn Evans at one point said the SHIT word, and I believe Oliver Solberg did as well, and I haven't seen anything of them getting fined. So apparently that word is okay, but the F word is not. It's just ludicrous, absolutely ludicrous. And I don't know. What more can you say? What more you can say? Anyway, I don't want to rant anymore. I want to move on to the positive things. And I think the most positive thing to come out from the weekend was the performance of Elfyn Evans, and I want to ask a question. Has the Welshman now put himself in the position of favourite for the championship? That might be controversial. I know some of you will disagree, and I do admit it is a little bit early in the year to be talking about such things, but I think we're seeing a very different Elfyn Evans to the one we've seen for the last couple of seasons. This is the man that has struggled with the Rally 1 car since the Rally 1 car was introduced in 2022. He has never really looked comfortable with it. You know, back in 2020, 21, he finished second in the championship, and I mean, he's not performed badly. He finished second in the championship last year, but there has just been a return to that sort of form that we saw when he was in the previous generation of car, and I think, if anything, he's looking better right now. You know, he did a fantastic job this weekend, won the rally, and there's just a few signs for me that I think are suggesting that things are a little bit different. So on Sunday morning, on the first stage, Takamoto Katsuta took the lead. He took the lead from Elfyn Evans, and in previous years that might have been the end. You know, we might have seen Evans capitulate and just settle for second place. Not this time. On the penultimate stage, he took more than 8 seconds out of Katsuta and snatched that lead back. He reclaimed it. And that is not the first time we've seen that kind of thing this year. In Monte Carlo, I think it was at the end of Saturday, he lost second place to Adrien Fourmaux. I think it was on the penultimate stage of Saturday, or maybe it was on the penultimate stage. But anyway, at the end of Saturday, and he promptly took it back again on the next stage. And I think that is something that perhaps at times has lacked from Evans, you know, when he's been a bit under pressure towards the end of a rally, when someone's turned the screw, he has sometimes let that get ahead of him, but not this time. He seems like a very determined, very fast, and crucially very relaxed driver. His demeanour just seems different. You know, this weekend he was laughing, he was joking. He just seems way more relaxed. I would love to know more about what's behind that. You know, is it the removal of the hybrid? Is it the change in the Hankook tyre? Is it a change in the setup? Is it a change within him? You know, has he found something internally to change the way he operates? But he just looks, to me, he looks like a very different driver. And we are 2 rallies in, and he is now on 61 points already. And second place man, Sebastian Ogier, is on 33. Third place man, Kalle Rovanperä, is just on 31. So he has an enormous championship lead already after just 2 rallies. So I think he could be the favourite. I want to know what you think. Do let me know below. As I said, I know it's very early in the year, but do you think Elfyn is the favourite? I think there are a few things going in his favour that are worth a mention, aren't they? You know, his rivals are struggling a little bit, while he seems to have very quickly got into the groove this year with a second place and a win. Not so good for others. You know, if we look within the Toyota team, Takamoto Katsuta deserves a lot of credit for his Sweden performance. Yes, he didn't quite have enough at the end, but he put himself right in there, so that was good to see. And I think he might sneak a win at some point. I've had my doubts about Taka, very nice guy, but I have had my doubts. I think that win might come at some point. Perhaps the big story, though, in Toyota is the struggles of Kalle Rovanperä, and that is definitely helping Evans, of course. He just does not seem to be happy with the tyres. He had an issue in Monte Carlo. Similar issue here. He just seems to not be happy with Hankook and the way that tyre operates. I've heard talk of too much understeer, so that is a big problem. You know, he's 4th in Monte, 5th in Sweden. Not a great start for his return to the top of the table, so he needs to work that out quickly. There are some big changes, though, aren't they? Obviously, we're moving to gravel, and that could suit him, so it is way too early to write Rovanperä off. Hyundai, we have to talk about Hyundai, don't we? All is not well, is it? I think there must have been some pretty big expectations at Hyundai this weekend. New car, pretty big changes. You know, they've been allowed to use 2 years' worth of jokers to apparently bring this car up to speed. And, you know, we saw some fastest times. I think Neuville, was it now? I've written this down somewhere. I think Neuville had 4 fastest times, perhaps. But it was good, but, you know, it's not the start to the season that he would have wanted, is it? Oyt Tanak had a problem on Saturday that blunted his charge. But, again, there was some pace there, wasn't there? I think we did see a fantastic battle. We saw lots of drivers in the mix. So I don't think it was a bad weekend for Hyundai necessarily, but it just wasn't quite the weekend that they wanted. And I can't help but think with that new car, they would have perhaps been hoping to be a little bit closer to Toyota. Fourmaux obviously had a difficult weekend because he went off and hit a snowbank. But I have to say, for me, he does remain maybe the most impressive driver at Hyundai right now. I think a lot of people criticised his decision to leave M Sport and said it was a bad move. For me, I think he has demonstrated why it was the right move. You know, he has been well in the mix in the first 2 rallies this season. He has shown that he is fast enough. So for me, aside from getting in trouble for swearing, I think he has demonstrated that that was a good result and a good move. So I think I am excited, and I still maintain that there is going to be a win from Fourmaux this year. Just finally and very quickly, I want to touch on M Sport. Josh McAlean is worth a mention. He did have a little issue, was it Friday? He went off the road, but he did manage to dig the car out and get going again and completed all of the stages. Again, you know, this is a learning year, isn't it? So he just has to keep plugging away. He has made a really big jump this season, and I think just the way he's going about it is absolutely the right way, isn't it? Just keep plugging away, doing the job, doing the miles, learn the car, and he just has to keep that up. So yeah, a little bit of a blip, but I'm not going to hold that against him. You know, I think if I was driving that car, I would have been on every stage. So he has to keep plugging away. I do think the man who continues to impress at M Sport is Martin Sesc, though, isn't he? So he had his first of a selection of planned outings this year. and he found himself as the top Puma driver. This is very difficult, isn't it? I think this probably puts Gregoire Munster in quite a difficult position, because he has had a full season in that car last year, and Martin Cescs keeps coming along on a limited programme and being faster than him. So that for me is a worrying sign for Munster. He did show good pace in Monte Carlo at times and got his first stage win, but that must be applying a little bit of pressure. I think, Cescs is showing that he is very fast, and it's a shame, isn't it? I would love to see him in that car full time. Hopefully we will see that in the future. But yeah, tricky for Munster that. I think that puts him in a very difficult position. But that wasn't the point, was it? The point was to say, well done, Martin Cescs, you are doing a fantastic job, and I can't wait to see his next appearance. So I'm going to wrap this one up there. I'm conscious that it is going to be long and winding. I will finish though with a question. Do let me know below what you think. Am I right about Elfyn Evans? Do you think Kalle Rovanperä is going to come good? Do you think Ott Tänak is going to come good? I predicted he would win the rally, but he did not. Anything else? What was your top moment from Sweden? How do you feel about the fine? I think I know what the answer will be in most cases. As always, do like and subscribe and follow me over on socials, and I will see you again next time.